Many thanks for staying with us. You're watching the primetime news on Galaxy Television, and here are stories making headlines. Federal government advised to collaborate with the right agencies and come up with appropriate policies for internally displaced persons. Magistrate court sitting in Port Harcourt remanded 8 members of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB who conducted a rally in support for Donald Trump. On the international scene, advisor to Gambia president says more than $11 million missing from the Gambia's coffers following the departure of longtime leader Yahya Jammeh. Well, thanks for staying with us. I am Justin Akadonye. Now, the federal government has been advised to collaborate with the right agencies and come up with appropriate policies for administration of various internally displaced person camps across Nigeria. Professor Tajuddin Akanji, the coordinator, Humanitarian and Disaster Management Unit, Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, University of Ibadan, while speaking with correspondent Kunlojo in Ibadan, maintained that it is unfortunate that there is no specific statistics of numbers of people in those camps across the country.
So I think the government should look at the IDP thing and involve a number of all these agencies. There is a need for agencies to collaborate and cooperate to make sure that the IDP camps are kept in a very nice way, and the government should also have policies on how to deal with victims of issues like this.
The University Don added that there is the need for government to plan for those in the camps, especially children and women who have lost their husbands, in order to forestall raising another gangs of people who will destabilize the country.
Well, I don't have statistics to look at, but there is also no information to us to show us that a number of things have been done. But if you look at the state in which the IDPs are, they are actually creating more havoc than solving problems. So if the government wants to close down the IDPs in order to come up with proper plans on how to deal with victims of these insurgencies and all those things, I think it's the right direction.
Well, the bombing of an internally displaced persons camp by the Nigerian Air Force last week, albeit described as a mistake, has again brought forward the need to the plight of IDPs in the country and the urgent need for their resettlement. Since 2011, Boko Haram insurgents, through sophisticated attacks, killed thousands in the nation's northeast, leaving about 2.3 million people displaced since 2013 as a result of the conflict. These IDPs are scattered across various camps in the country, living lives of squalor and uncertainty. More in this report compiled by Judith Irenwa.
The plight of internally displaced persons in Nigeria has caught the attention of international organizations, government, and spirited individuals the world over. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, in 2016 said over $200 million has been set aside for the education, provision of healthcare, water supplies, and sanitation for 2.2 million internally displaced persons in camps in the nation's northeast. While the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in September 2016 assured the international community that his administration was already implementing several people-oriented programs to meet the humanitarian needs of the over 2 million internally displaced persons in Nigeria.
First of all, I believe that one of the problems that is bedeviling that sector, that's or the humanitarian sector, is a lack of policy, clear guideline on how to conduct affairs within the humanitarian sector. Now, if policy were to be available, that policy would have clearly spelled out the roles, the responsibilities and obligations of state institutions, non-governmental organizations, and so on.
Despite these assurances and funds, reports of starvation, malnutrition, deprivation, and uncertainty pervade. There are even reports that the situation is far worse than portrayed by the media. Tired of waiting for respite that may never come, some IDPs clamor to return home and, if possible, start their lives from scratch.
It's not easy because, like now, as for now, I'm not doing anything. It's only the help they used to bring to the camp. And you know, it's not always. So life is not easy with me. You know, since we are here, government is not doing anything about us. We are going through a lot. Especially food. We need food for this camp. We need food. And look at this water now. We are not getting, like, for 3 days now, we are not getting water. We see women beating themselves because of this water, because the water is not enough for us. So it's not easy for us.
In what it tagged Operation Back Home, the federal government, through the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, NCFRMI, in October 2016 said its plan is to ensure the safe return of at least 2 million displaced Nigerians to their homes. The Borno state government also announced in September 2016 that they plan to immediately relocate internally displaced persons from Kunduga, Mafa, and Dikwa local government areas of the state, taking refuge in Maiduguri back home. This followed the reported attainment of peace in the areas which were hitherto under the control of the Boko Haram terrorists. These have just remained announcements and plans. The question that begs for answers are, what will these IDPs return to? The ruins and rubbles where they once knew his home has been reduced to? What are the assurances for their security? Unfortunately, many influential and top government functionaries were alleged to be benefiting from the plight of the IDPs. The Senate at plenary in December 2016 called for the prosecution and removal of the Secretary General of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, for alleged complicity in the diversion of the Northeast Humanitarian Fund. Top government officials and their cronies were also alleged of contravening the provisions of the Public Procurement Act 2007 and the federal government financial rules and regulations on the award of contract under the presidential initiative on the Northeast. Though allegations, it could be inferred that few people may be benefited immensely from the plight of the IDPs, and hence the relocation and resettlement back home may just be a mirage for now. Judith Irenoa for Galaxy News, Lagos.
The magistrate court sitting in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, has remanded 38 members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, who conducted a rally on Friday in the state in solidarity for the swearing-in of U.S. President Donald Trump in prison custody. The suspects, who were charged with a 2-count charge of conspiracy to treasonable felony and felony, did not take their plea. Presiding Chief Magistrate S.D. Andrew Jaja, in his ruling, urged parties to file written addresses and ordered that medical treatment should be given to those who have injuries. He adjourned the case till 30th of January for adoption of written addresses. Similarly, the Port Harcourt Magistrate Court has also remanded 7 of members of IPOB for lack of jurisdiction on 2-count charge of felony and conspiracy to treasonable felony. The presiding magistrate Amade Nna remanded the suspect in court and adjourns to the 30th of January for adoption. While counsel to the defendant Ifeanyi Ejiofor, speaking with journalists outside the courtroom, said the charges against the defendant is baseless. He further accused the police of murdering some of the Biafrans and secretly buried them.
As at last count, we discovered that we counted over 20 of them that were killed by the police. So, and arrested over 200 of them. We are here in court today to demand for their release. And very surprisingly, we saw a situation whereby the police filed charges, which I can best describe as frivolous and they are founded, of treasonable felony against them, in a smart move to cover what they've done.
Now, the struggle for secession by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has been a lingering battle which started before 1967 by the movement for the actualization of sovereign state of Biafra, MASOB. The military governor of the Igbo-dominated Southeast, Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu, cited the northern massacres, electoral fraud proclaimed with Southern Parliament, marginalization, among others, as the reason for secession from Nigeria as a Republic of Biafra. Jude Nwabuzo in this report takes a look at the struggle for secession by Masob and IPOB. His report. The plan to succeed by the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, Masob, under the leadership of Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu, led to the Nigerian Civil War, which lasted for 30 months, from 1967 to 1970.
The onerous responsibilities of guiding our young republic through these difficult times, I must confess that it is always a source of deep pleasure and encouragement to me to receive assurances of the support of the people and their continuing determination to persevere until complete victory is achieved.
The conflict was the result of serious tensions, both ethnic and religious, between the different peoples of Nigeria. Like most African nations, Nigeria was an artificial construct put together by agreement between European powers. The Nigeria, which received independence from Britain in 1960, had a population of 60 million people of nearly 300 different ethnic and tribal groups. After the return of Colonel Ojukwu from exile, the struggle for sovereign state of Biafra was passed on to Ralph Uwazurike, who led the movement for some time. Barrister Ralph Uwazurike, the founder of Masob in 1999, and also the founder of Biafra Liberation Front, BLF, around 2007, and also the founder of Biafra Independence Movement, BIM, in 2015, led the first ever Biafra 1 million man march in 2008 in Biafra land and proclaimed that leaders should lead by example. This march commenced after rejection of the Nigerian government to re-arrest him when he reported to the police custody. He was released by President Obasanjo for the burial of his beloved mother, but the federal government ran away from the case after the elders of the Igbo land woke up to defend him through the help of late President General Ikemba Ojukwu. But after a while, a new group called Indigenous People of Biafra emerged with a vision and radicalized the struggle for secession. The group expelled Uwazurike from Masob on the allegation that he had compromised. The group, led by Nnamdi Kanu, had staged different rallies to drive home their demands, with a lot of its members allegedly killed. The recent rally was the one held in Port Harcourt in support of the United States President Donald Trump, with some of the supporters arrested by the police. This was the drama during one of the court proceedings for IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu.
I also want to tell Mr. President, please understand that Nnamdi Kanu has a right to exist. As a leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, he has every right to address his people.
Nnamdi Kanu has been accused in the open, has been maligned in the open, has been convicted over the media, which people will bear me witness. For committing offense, they cannot be able to establish. Now, we want those people accusing him to come to the court and testify. We want to see them eyeball to eyeball. We want to test their demeanor at the point of giving evidence against our client. But I can assure you, the media, that federal government has no witness to come and give evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. Take it or leave it from me. Because if they have any witness, they would have brought it, the person have been come to court to come and give evidence. Yes. Now, we have told the court that sections of the law which they are running upon cannot avail them the circumstances.
Though the claim for marginalization by the group is yet to be substantiated, the question remains, how prepared are they to succeed without a workable document? You're watching the news on Galaxy Television. Away from the Biafra struggle, when we return, federal government says public-private partnership key to economic recovery. Details in a moment. To join us again. Welcome back. You're watching the Primetime News on Galaxy Television. Now, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo says a sustaining public-private sector robust relationship is the plank of the economic recovery plan of the federal government. The president revealed this at the opening of the second Presidential Business Forum at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Monday. He said great attention has been paid in sustaining private sector leadership, especially in the Plan of Economic Recovery and Growth Plan 2017, which is to be launched in February this year. Declaring the forum open, Acting President said deepening existing relationship between the private sector and the government is key to taking the nation out of its recession.
Sustainable economic growth is only possible if it is private sector led. And a great deal of attention has been paid, as you will probably find, in sustaining private sector leadership, especially in the plans, our economic recovery and growth plan.
In their presentation, the organized private sector, though commended the federal government's effort at addressing challenges facing the economy, yet want government to do more in the areas of revitalizing the industrial sector, as well as to address the foreign exchange problem confronting the nation.
Government through the CBN should ensure that the 60% concessionary forex allocation to the manufacturing sector for raw materials and machinery importation is strictly implemented. 2, the list of 41 items banned by the CBN from accessing forex in the interbank forex exchange market should be reviewed with a view to removing raw materials components that cannot be sourced locally.
The forum was also a platform for 7 ministers to respond to some issues raised by participants.
Now, the next phase is how do we bring in the private sector, and I think that process is beginning to roll out. We've already started that with the Family Homes Fund, which is a housing PPP, and the Road Trust Fund, which we're trying to finalise now with the Ministry of Power Works and Housing, will see us do the first projects on a PPP basis.
Rehabilitation. We are not rehabilitating, we are rebuilding, reconstruction. So you are building a new runway. So it won't take us to say do it only at night. It's not possible. So we want the understanding of everybody, all Nigerians, so that we can get this done. Thank you.
And we understand that this agreement will definitely help in lowering the cost of doing business and the cost of trading across borders and so on. And we're enjoining you to work with us to implement the agreement. Now the agreement is signed, we must then move on to implementation.
In the meantime, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, says there is no going back on the federal government's plan to close the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for 6 weeks. Speaking at the second Presidential Business Forum of the Buhari administration, the minister said Lufthansa airline has already been grounded for the past 3 days due to damaged gear on landing. Amechi was responding to the concern of the negative impact of the closure of the airport by the president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Frank Odemba Jacobs, who made a presentation on behalf of the organized private sector at the forum. According to him, the airport has outlived its 20-year lifespan and is now 34 years old. He noted that the work to be done is not just repairs but complete rebuilding.
I don't know if there's anything new you want to hear about the aviation, about the closure of the airport. The story is that the airport was built to last for 20. The runway was built to last for 20 years. Now it has lasted for 34 years, and government does not want to lose anybody. I hear Lufthansa landed and damaged their gear. They've been here for 3 days now, trying to repair it and fly back. Imagine if those 130 persons had died. The first thing we do is Minister for Transportation resign, Minister of State for Aviation resign. We don't want to resign. Now, there is something you're also doing that is not right. You say rehabilitation. We are not rehabilitating, we are rebuilding, reconstruction.
The meeting was the second presidential business forum, a platform to engage and interact with the private sector to keep them abreast with government's policies and activities. And away from the federal government, the Nigerian Senate will on Tuesday start the debate on the 2017 appropriation bill submitted by President Muhammadu Buhari. A statement from the office of the Senate President said that before the budget debate, that the Committee on Customs and Excise, chaired by Senator Hope Uzodimma, will be submitting its report on a bill to repeal and reenact Nigerian Customs Service Management Act 2017. The statement further indicated that the passage of the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework (MTEF) and Fiscal Strategy Paper (FSP) for 2017 to 2019 by both chambers of the National Assembly paved way for the consideration of the 2017 appropriation bill. A notice paper issued by the office of the chairman of the Committee on Rules and Business, Senator Baba Kaka Garba, showed that all 3 days of plenary this week will be dedicated to debate on the 2017 budget. While Abuja, as a growing city, is faced with a lot of infrastructure challenges, many of them bordering on inadequate parking spaces. Well, this issue has been undergoing deliberations at the House of Representatives. While on Monday, a bill for an act to provide adequate parking spaces for buildings meant for public use was discussed. Well, some lawmakers at the lower chamber had this to say.
About, making a law on issues of parking, yes. It's a development control is a creation of the law. And the developer is expected, and it's compulsory, it is mandatory. You must submit your building plan approval. What you are talking about is to enforce that once the car park is full, don't park on the street, don't park on the road.
It's compulsory for public buildings to accommodate parking spaces in their building designs. And I think all over, it's of best practices to ensure that our public buildings that is going to be assessed for public utilities and services, to have a parking space under it or beside it.
And away from Abuja, straight now to Ondo State. Following the retirement of Chief Judge of the State, Justice Seyinde Kumuyi, and Acting Chief Judge, Justice Tayo Oshoba, has been sworn in by Governor Olusegun Mimiko. The swearing-in ceremony took place at the Cocoa Conference Hall of the Governor's office at Alagbaka in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Addressing dignitaries that graced the occasion, Governor Mimiko likened the career of judges as a divine call and therefore charged them and judicial personnel to be incorruptible in the discharge of their duties.
I always want you to remember that your calling is divine, and I am sure that the good Lord will always reward those who serve Him diligently. When you administer justice with fear of God Almighty and serving God.
Governor Mimiko used the forum to appreciate the cooperation his administration enjoyed with the judiciary in the last 8 years.
I want to seize this opportunity to thank the judiciary through thick and thin, when it still was buoyant, and when we were on the other side of buoyant, we have always had understanding of the judiciary.
The newly sworn-in Acting Chief Judge of Ondo State, Justice Oshoba, implored the judiciary staff to join hands with her to improve legal services in the state.
Seek the support of the Nigerian Bar Association, all the branches in Ondo State, the police, the prison authorities, and all other stakeholders in our justice system. Let us continue to work hand in hand in ensuring that our justice delivery system is fully established.
When confirmed by the National Judiciary Commission, NJC, as the substantive Chief Judge, Honorable Justice Tayo Oshoba will be the second female Chief Judge in Ondo State. Well, still ahead, Edo PDP flags off campaign ahead by-election. Details in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has expressed confidence that it will emerge victorious at the forthcoming by-election into Isako Federal Constituency seat in the National Assembly. The state chairman of the party, Dan Obi, said this while addressing the people of Isako during its flag-off campaign ceremony. Obi noted that his party has become a clear favorite because of what he described as the harsh economic policies of the All Progressives Congress, APC.
Economic situation has made it easy for our candidates. I believe that the very policies of APC government has helped us to be competitive.
PDP's candidate and former senior special advisor to Goodluck Jonathan on student affairs, Jude Imagwe, said the interest of his people and the development of the constituency would be his priority if he wins.
We need to consult, but by the grace of God, with our wealth of experience, we can attract investors to this place. When investors come here, our natural deposits will be tapped, industries will be built, my brothers and sisters will be granted employment.
Well, after 11 months of rigorous contest for the position of the rector for the Polytechnic of Kwara State, Dr. Abdul Latif Olatunji has finally emerged as the one to steer the ship of the institution for the next 4 years. While resuming officially on Monday, the staff and management of the school gathered at the hall to welcome the new rector with joy and songs of praises. The chairman, Senior Staff Association, Comrade Bankole Ayodeji, urged the new rector to carry everyone along if he wants to record any success.
I'm going to tell her the real truth. The moment you do the wrong thing, you see my voice out. Yes, sir. Greatest Senate. Greatest Senate. Greatest of the greatest Senate.
The new rector reaffirmed his readiness to work with everyone and promised a new look for the institution.
We are together. We are going to work as one. The federal protective offer has not been divided in any way at all. And I want to assure you that come here by next week, last week, we are all in joyous mood. You could see that at the reception with the staff members, myself and the acting rector, we are together, and that we have been discussing at length in many ways to move this polytechnic forward.
The closest rival for the position, who was also the acting rector, vowed to support the new one because he shares the same vision with her.
I'm greatly relieved because, you see, for those periods, I was shadowed with 3 major offices. That's one. 2, you know, when it's a contest, everybody, maybe you try, look at the athletes. But once a winner emerges, Sanity should tell every other contestant to cooperate with him. Besides, we have been working together many years. We have been partners together since as far back as 1996 when he came here.
You're still watching the news on Galaxy Television. Still ahead, more stories from the local, business and sport when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. Moving on now to Ogun State. Following the continuous expansion of road networks within the state, the commander of Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, Lashini Abdul Fatai Ogunyemi, has attributed the non-compliance of traffic rules and regulations to impatience on the part of motorists and road users. While speaking to Galaxy Television correspondent John Felix in Abeokuta, he noted that the agency would be resuscitating mobile traffic court, especially for one-way traffic offenders. Ogunyemi also said that the agency is working towards ensuring that members of the community get involved in issues of traffic management within their domain.
Secondly, we are introducing what we call community-based traffic management scheme. Community-based traffic management is just like community policing, just like the police. We just key into their own that the community of people should be involved in traffic management within their domain. And just what the FRIC is doing, that is special marshals, which, according to our own law, we call them trace mayors.
Given the statistics of road traffic crashes in the outgone year, the Ogun Trace commander said that 47.21% of the road traffic crashes was caused by overspeeding, 17.6% by dangerous driving, 10.27% by bad tires, 7.66% by driving against traffic, and 17.25% by other causes. In the meantime, as part of measures to prevent the spread of Lassa fever, which has broken out in neighboring River State, the chairman, Delta Environmental Sanitation, Chuka Iweka, says government is doing everything possible to sensitize the people on indiscriminate dumping of waste. He made a remark in Warri South local government area during the clearing of refuse dumped on roadsides. Iweka also spoke on government policies to sensitize members of the public in keeping their environment clean.
Sensitization should be an ongoing process. It has started right from day one. But you know, some places will tell you they have not had. But the issue of waste bin that was raised by the resident here, before now, the commissioner has directed that anywhere we go, people that have no waste bin, we should give them waste bin. And in doing that, what we normally do is the price has been cut down to 12,000 naira.
A community leader called on residents to ensure their surroundings are clean to prevent the outbreak of Lassa fever. as the sanitation chairman spoke on the Ministry of Environment's commitment.
The role of the community, they should know that first they will be the one affected. If the place is filthy, you know what goes with it. Rodents will be here. You know, you hear of Lassa fever. It is when a place is filthy, it houses rats that carry the rodents. Other diseases, other health hazards could come from where a place like this is filthy. And it's also not good for sight.
You're still watching the news on Galaxy Television. We'll be right back after this quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Delta State Commissioner for Works, James Ogoye, has called on contractors handling the road project in the state to key into the vision of the state government in providing durable roads for residents. He made that disclosure during an inspection of the NPA road in Warri, which has been washed away by flood and water channels covered by refuse. The Commissioner for Works spoke on the need to have quality roads in the state.
I've been interacting with them, and I also want to use this medium to tell them that this is a very serious government, and we are very particular about the quality of roads we intend delivering to deltas. And so we want our contractors to key into our vision of ensuring that the materials they use in constructing roads in Delta State are high-quality materials that will stand the test of time.
He also warned against the indiscriminate dumping of refuse in water channels.
The heap of refuse dumped right on the culvert that is supposed to channel water into the natural waterway. We want to use the opportunity to appeal to residents, those living along the NPA bypass, to ensure that refuse are not dumped on the drains. When you do that, the drains will be blocked, and the spillover effect is that there will be that tendency that water will not flow.
You're watching the news on Galaxy Television. Away from all of that, coming up next are sports news. The NPFL Player of the Season has returned to training with Rangers and could even play his first league match this season on Wednesday away to Aqua United. Igbuchulam, who scored 16 goals last season as Rangers emerged champions, was first at Etoile Sportif du Sahel before he negotiated with another Tunisian club, Club Africain. Chisom Igbuchulam watched from the stands on Sunday as Rangers recorded their first win of the season by beating El Kaneme Warriors by a lone goal in Enugu. Meanwhile, the league management company LMC have fined Abia Warriors the sum of 250,000 naira for the unruly behavior of their players during the Nigeria Professional Football League Match Day 3 fixture against Remo Stars on Sunday. Remo Stars won the game 1-0 courtesy of a controversial late penalty
awarded by the center referee, which drew wild protest from the visitors. It was the first defeat of the campaign for the side, who won their opening 2 games against Enugu Rangers and Katsina United. The league body frowned upon the behavior of the players for accosting the referee following his decision and ruled that only team captains can approach referees to protest decisions. The Umaya-based club have 48 hours, not later than January 25th, to appeal or accept the sanctions imposed. The LMC have also asked the Nigeria Football Federation Referees Committee to withdraw referee Dankano Abdullahi from future NPFL games, pending full investigation into his performance in the game. LMC expressed dissatisfaction with Dankano's performance in the game. Double Olympic gold medalist Nicola Adams has turned professional with promoter Frank Warren and has been set the target of becoming a world champion within a year. The Briton has been released from her contract with the Great Britain boxing program and will not go to the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Adams, 34, is scheduled to make her professional bow at the Manchester Arena on the 8th of April on the undercard of WBO World Lightweight Champion Terry Flanagan's 5th title defense. In tennis, Rafael Nadal showed glimpses of his very best form as he beat and frustratingly inconsistent Gael Monfils 6-3, 6-3, 4-6, 6-4 to move into the Australian Open quarterfinals and a date with Milos Raonic. Nadal's victory means he joins Roger Federer in the last 8, and tennis fans could now be forgiven for believing they have traveled back in time as the pair put their recent form and fitness concerns behind them. For just under 3 hours, the resurgent Spaniard grappled with one of the tour's most electric characters, and while Monfils caught fire in the later stages, Nadal's blistering start had already set the tone.
Well, coming up next on the news are stories making headlines from the international scene.
Hello and welcome to the international scene. More than $11 million is missing from the Gambia state coffers following the departure of longtime leader Yahya Jammeh, an advisor to President Adama Barrow has said. Mai Ahmed Fati said financial experts are trying to evaluate the exact course. Luxury cars and other items were reportedly loaded onto a Chadian cargo plane as Jammeh left the country. Jammeh, who flew into exile after 22 years in power, has not commented on the allegations. He had refused to accept election results, but finally left after mediation by regional leaders and the threat of military intervention. Iraq's army says it has retaken all of eastern Mosul from the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL. The ministry said in a statement that the armed forces succeeded in liberating the left bank of the city of Mosul completely after inflicting heavy losses in lives and equipment to the enemy. The announcement comes months after a large ground operation was launched to remove ISIL, also known as ISIS, from the northern city, the group's last major stronghold in Iraq. Since the U.S.-led offensive began in October 17, Iraqi forces have retaken a quarter of Mosul. Iraq's defense ministry said it was clearing the areas it had taken of bombs left by ISIL. And the United States President Donald Trump has pledged to massively cut regulations and taxes on companies that keeps jobs in the U.S. After meeting business leaders, Trump also warned them he would impose a very major border tax on companies that move manufacturing out of the United States. The remarks came on the first weekday of his White House after a weekend of anti-Trump protests and a media row. The president is expected to sign a series of executive orders and meet congressional leaders on Monday. And finally, the Syrian government lead negotiator has denounced what he called his rebel counterpart provocative comment at the start of peace talks in Astana. Bashar Jafari said Mohammed Alosh had acted in a way removed from diplomacy at the indirect negotiations convened by Russia, Iran and Turkey. Alosh accused the Syrian military and its allies of violating a truce. He also said a political solution to the civil war was the rebels' preferred choice, but not the only one. The talks in Kazakhstan's capital are the first at which the opposition delegation is formed exclusively of representatives of armed groups. UN brokered negotiations in Geneva involving exiled opposition political figures broke down last April, with little progress having been made.
And finally, we'll now join our entertainment news desk for more stories.
P-Man vows to fight piracy.
Beautiful, so beautiful. Life is so beautiful.
The Performing Musicians Employers Association of Nigeria has restated its determination to join hands with the security agencies and the National Assembly to fight piracy and make the entertainment industry profitable for musicians. This is the view of stakeholders in Lagos at the end of a meeting held in Lagos. The stakeholders said the sweat of members of the association has been taken over by people who has little or no understanding of the music industry. They used the opportunity to inform Nigerians that the crisis in the association is over, saying they are determined to transform the lot of musicians and use music as a tool of job creation.
Government is not doing enough. They are not doing enough because if they are doing enough, the music industry will not be at this level. When you go to other countries, you see what music is all about. So we need to upgrade the level of music industries in Nigeria. We need to let the world know that really entertainment is very important in the life of the people. And music is the soul of life. And the people that plays music means they give life.
Because of you, I won't be feeling this way.
The issue of piracy has caused a lot of damages to life of musicians. A lot. But this is the time. I pray very soon all this will be over. That's the first thing that this union is going to tackle. And we are now pleading to federal government, the state governments, to work together with, with P-Man to eradicate this issue of piracy. We are dying silently. We borrowed money. We collect money on loan. At the end of the day, we won't be able to pay back.
They appreciate the efforts of the Minister for Labour and Productivity, Chris Ngige, for the roles he played in solving the crisis within the union, which has culminated in a delegate conference that would usher in new executives for the union.
There's magic in the way that you make it sweat. Baby, I don't want to know another way. I know fish out, I don't know what else to say.
DMW boss Davido signs new act Yonder to record label. Music maestro and DMW boss Davido was all over the news for sacking his long-term manager Kamal Ajiboye. However, the Maga to Mugu crooner is on the news for adding another talent to his DMW fine imprint. The newbie goes by the name Yonder.
Say happy day, I'm just here to celebrate. That's say when you catch me, in the day they look your face. It's your wedding day, honeymoon go day.
Miguel Ferrer dies at 61. Miguel Ferrer, a family face on the big and small screens, died Thursday following a battle with throat cancer, according to a statement from his current employer, CBS. Actor Miguel Ferrer passed away peacefully in his home after losing his battle to cancer. CBS said in a statement, he was surrounded by close family and friends, including his wife Lori, sons Lucas and Rafi, and his brothers and sisters. Ferrer was also the cousin of actor George Clooney. Miguel was a man of tremendous talent who had a powerful dramatic presence on screen, a wicked sense of humor, and a huge heart, showrunner R. Scott Jamil said in a statement. Our thoughts go out to his wife Lori, his sons, and his entire family. He will be greatly missed. Twin Peaks co-creator Mark Frost said on Twitter that working and writing for Ferrer was a highlight in every part of my life. May his soul rest in peace.
And that's our package for now. I am Justin Akadonye. Many thanks for watching. Good night.
Audio Jungle.